Congratulations on the film. I love it. I love documentaries to begin with, and then this is such an amazing one. And you both have worked on so many just wonderful documentaries, other ones as well. What makes you decide you want to cover a subject to begin with?
We found in a lot of ways that they find us. And so, you know, from the first one that we did hit so hard about Patty Schemmel, the drummer of Hole, she just was a good friend who was a neighbor who brought over this box of tapes that had never before been seen of her traveling the whole, you know, grunge circuit and living with Kurt Courtney, and asked us to turn it into a documentary. And, you know, and then other projects have been kind of like that as well. What we have found when we look at sort of like what's a through line between a lot of the things that we're doing, we really like people who are pioneers of culture, people who are doing something that through art and through self-expression that they have done something to kind of you know, enhance and change the world. And so we find looking at like the body of work that's the thread now that we find is kind of running through.
And then
I don't know that we would have said that's why we're choosing something.
Yeah.
When you look back at it afterwards, you go, oh look.
Like, you know, we have a very enchanted life. And, you know, it's like Cher saw our first documentary, and that's why we got to work with her on her mother's documentary.
That's amazing.
It was really divine intervention. We just were fans of, we didn't even know there was a real person. We just loved this brand and his furniture and lifestyle stuff. We weren't even into the fashion, didn't know anything about him. And, you know, the universe conspired to put us face to face with this guy. And it was just a meeting of, we loved each other and, you know.
Yeah, we were in Paris taking a break from the documentary we were finishing on Jane Mansfield.
Which I love too, which is amazing documentary.
For Les Disques Pierre Cardin, because we collect everything that's on his record label. He has a record label on top of everything else. Went to the Paris flea market just looking for records, and on our way back home, we walked past the Musée Cardin. And we're like, there's a museum for Pierre Cardin? And then there was a shop next door, the museum's closed, shop next door, and we went inside and started talking to the guy who was running it. And before we knew it, he was telling us how we could accidentally on purpose run into and try to meet Pierre Cardin, because he was still alive, which we didn't know, and would go into his store and make sure everything was to his liking every morning.
His flagship store.
His flagship store on the, you know, on the Faubourg Saint-Honoré. And so he told us, you know, go on a Tuesday morning and you will find, you know, that you're probably able to run into him. And so the next time we were in Paris, we dressed all up to try to impress Mr. Cardin.
In Mr. Turk.
Yeah, and went to the store. And that day was this crazy, wild, magical day where we ended up sitting down having lunch with him, because we were documentary filmmakers. They assumed we wanted to make a movie. And before you knew it, they were telling us, you know, what do you want to do and when do you want to start? And Mr. Cardin, just like with Jean-Paul Gaultier or with Philippe Starck, as you see in the film, just saw us and decided yes for some reason. And off we went.
He's clairvoyant, you know.
I love stories like that, because it's so serendipitous, but it's like meant to be, and
yeah,
it's amazing. How even, like, he's done so much, and I just don't know, how do you go about like even focusing in like where you want to start and what you want to include, because there is such a wide,
huge
of information.
Too, you know, we come at them where we're learning as we go. So, you know, it's not like we're starting from here and going from here. We're starting from here, and you know, and it keeps growing. Even though the film's done now, we keep learning stuff or finding pictures.
Well, we see some great new picture. We just saw David Bowie in a bathrobe.
Pierre Cardin bathrobe.
You know, logos all over. We're like, where was that when we were paying?
Be on the extras DVD.
You know, it's why documentary has worked for us, because we're both narrative filmmakers. And this is a really strange thing we'd never thought about until it started happening. But it really the two of us are, you know, pop culture fanatics. We love music, we love film. So it lets us, and we're filmmakers. It's let us be so many different things, and now international jet setters.
I love it.
You know, when we were at that, we interviewed Sharon Stone in Hollywood when they hopped a plane to China and just showed up in time for a fashion show in the Great Wall.
Amazing.
We were like,
first, the crew was all ready to shoot.
What did we do right?
We got there. And we're like, oh my God, look.
We did something right in life.
You do get incredible, your other documentaries too, all of them, you get incredible interviewees, that phenomenal people. Has there been somebody, particularly in this film, that you were just so excited to talk to, or someone that really surprised you?
The one that was most surprising for me, that it kind of made my knees weak, and that I just found myself kind of, I don't know, a little bit starstruck, which I never am. We do a lot of celebrity interviews, was Dionne Warwick. And when she walked into the room, she had a shoulder to floor fur coat on. Those cheekbones were, you know, rising up to the sky. And she's looking at you and talking to you. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like you're a person. And you're like, oh my God, it's Dionne Warwick. I've listened to her music
Incredible.
forever. And she's so inspiring to us in our lives, just as who she is. And also, you know, she had that great period where she was the hostess of Solid Gold. So like, she was part of our lives growing up as like something that you aspired towards. So so she really, she was a great, exciting interview.
And something that came out of the blue, we were at the Cardin archive one day going through photos, and we're like, why are there so many photos of Charlotte Rampling? And they said, oh, she was married to this musician named Jean-Michel Jarre, and that's him in all the photos too. I think, Jean-Michel Jarre, the electronic musician, I love him. And we went home that night and got on Facebook, and we interviewed him the next day.
Amazing.
And it was pure luck. He was in Paris for a few hours, right? It was once again things.
We were flying in, we had to do it on our way and go straight to the airport.
And the guy is just brilliant. His interview was magnificent. But it's like, you know, you're like, oh my God, just 40 years ago, I was sitting in my bedroom with those big headphones on, Equinox, right? This electronic music, like, wow, this was made in France. Like, who is this guy? Now I'm sitting with him.
It blows your mind a little bit sometimes, like when we're watching Dear Mom Love Cher, which is the documentary about Cher and her family. You know, you're very used to seeing Cher on camera and talking to people. She's done it her whole career. We've seen her since, you know, the 60s, 70s doing it. In that movie, she's talking to me. Like, so I watch it and I go, oh, Cher on screen is talking to me. Like, that's...
I'm sure it's crazy. It has to be like, I mean, I'm such a pop culture nerd myself, and like, so I can't even imagine.
You get used to it because they're extremely excellent at what they do, and they make you feel very comfortable. So, you know, someone like Cher, someone like Pierre Cardin, they are magnanimous, amazing human beings. And as we say, they're just people, but extraordinarily so. So, you know, Pierre made us at ease.
Yeah. John Waters taught me a valuable lesson in that when you meet these people that are your idols, right? You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I love you so much. He's like, how are we supposed to feel? We're already like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable.
It's true though.
He said, I really appreciate it when people just treat me like a person.
Talk to me.
And from that moment on, I think we're, you know, very presentable. We're very professional.
I'm very presentable.
And we don't make any pretensions. We're just nice. And, you know, and you're nice to Naomi Campbell. Guess what? She's nice back.
Yeah.
You know, people forget kindness goes a long way. If you just be cool, like just be nice. Human being goes a long way.
And with a big smile, we had a big smile, and we just started talking, and the interview was over, and we're hanging out. And we almost asked her to say, will you pretend to hit us with your cell phone? But we didn't.
That's almost it. That'd been really hard not to say it. What do you hope that people take away from the film or learn about Pierre?
I think the biggest thing for us is that he's such an inspiration, and that he makes you really think about creativity, a creative life, about how if you do what you love, the rest kind of does follow behind it. And this is not a man who was, to the manner born. He is, he brought himself up from nothing,
Came from nothing.
poverty.
Yeah.
The family had money when they were farm, like wine landowners in Italy, but then they had to flee Mussolini and ended up just, for the time, what was called, dirty Italian immigrants in the middle of France. And he just believed in himself, believed in his talent, and carved this incredible life. So that life is possible, that creativity is something that inspires you, that moves you forward. We look at him and we really, I personally just feel very inspired by him.
Yeah. He made us feel very young, right? We're in our, 50s. And, you really feel after getting to know him, you're like, I can do anything. I can wake up tomorrow and learn French. I could wake up tomorrow and start playing the piano. I've got a long life ahead of me, and life is awesome.
French.
You're like,
French.
well, I'm getting my little warning that I know you guys have to talk to other people. I want to talk to you forever because I adore both of you. This documentary is incredible. I love the James Manfield. I mean, I think you're amazing filmmakers, and I hope you do many more. And I will be recommending this to all my friends because I just adore it, and I could tell how much it means to you through your filmmaking. So thank you for talking to me so much.
We love our Mr. Cardin.
And your home is beautiful. I know this is your home, but it's beautiful. Wherever you are is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, this is so the coffee table that started it all. That's the first. Well, talk better at that than I am. That's the Pierre Cardin coffee table that we bought when we were looking to sort of do something with this house that felt a little bit more 70s. We called it Halston Gucci Fiorucci at the time. Now it's the House of Cardin. But we were looking for furniture that spoke to that kind of aesthetic, and discovered Pierre Cardin, and that was kind of what set it all in motion.
I love it. It's incredible. You both are incredible. Thank you so much. And congratulations, and please make more films.
Well, we did. We made a new one on Trini Lopez, and he died yesterday, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't know that you made a film on.
He just died yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing about it is that he's getting so much. I mean, it's kind of horrible, but he's getting so much attention.
I know now, because a lot of people don't know who he is, which is...
Right now, he's the son of illegal Mexican immigrants that grew up to be one of America's greatest entertainers. So...
I'm so happy. I didn't know that you did it, so I'm really
the whole film almost completed, and it's sort of in our computer, this beautiful tribute to this man's life. So we're really hoping to try to figure out how to get it out there.
Oh my God. I definitely will will be pushing forward for that, because I think that's incredible, and thank God you did that, especially considering my family.
Because he insisted on using his Latino.
And for that one, we got to meet Tony Orlando.
Are you serious?
Oh my God, he was so awesome. He had a gay crush on David.
He was like, "You're the most handsome man," and I'm like, "Okay."
You're like, so...
We were all just like hugging and like we loved each other. We were like, "Oh, we love you, Tony."
There are some people that sometimes are incredibly good looking, and you just have to tell them that. I mean, it was no offense to you, I'm sure. But he was very...
Well, I was like, "Oh, Tony,
I thought it was quite nice. I was like, "I'm with you, Tony."
My husband was like, "Oh yeah."
You know what he's saying, baby.
I love it. Well, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.
I think you both are amazing. I love you, and thank you so much. You made my week, seriously.
Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, just north of Burbank, in my red room.
Sitting here, we've been in London, Chicago. We're all over today.
All over. Just LA, just born and raised. But thank you so much.
Okay, thanks so much.
Bye.